Hey guys, what's up? Kyle here with another discussion video I want to talk about as it pertains to wrestling. Um, there's certain things in wrestling, certain terms in wrestling that I think a lot of wrestling fans use very lightly and overuse a lot. One of those terms is buried, the expression buried. This wrestler's being buried, that wrestler's being buried, they're being buried. Um, that's a term I think that's thrown around way too often within the wrestling community amongst fans. Another term is that that wrestling fans use. This person can't wrestle. If if you're not an in-ring technician like a Daniel Bryan or a CM Punk, or if you don't come from, if you're not a king of the Indies like Seth Rollins and CM Punk and Daniel Bryan or Cesaro, if you're not someone that's been on the independent scene for 15 plus years, but come to WWE, you're not a wrestler or you're not a star. Um, I've already made a video talking about that and how that has always been an annoyance to me. I made a video about that earlier this year. But another term I think that's really annoying, start to annoy the heck out of me now, I'm really seeing a lot of fans use now, is the term forced down our throats. That is a term I think that is used way, way too much. Now, when most people use the term forced down our throats, they always associate it with John Cena, which is, in that case, in John Cena's case, I'd say that's a fair statement to use that term. But now they're using it with just about every other wrestler you can think of. Most recently, Roman Reigns. People are using the term forced down our throats. And to me, I just think it's interesting because personally, I feel certain wrestling fans, they will pick and they will nitpick and choose who they think is being forced down our throats. I'm just going to use Roman Reigns as an example. If we want to use the term forced down our throats and associate with, say, someone like Roman Reigns, let's be fair about it. Seth Rollins, you can say, has been forced down our throats. Let's be fair. You say Roman Reigns has been put on TV and it's made to look strong, this and that. Well, look at Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins has, ever since the Shield's broken up, Seth Rollins has gotten just as much, if not, I would say more TV time and more high profiling spots than Roman Reigns as of right now. Yes, Seth Rollins has been a cowardly heel, but it doesn't matter. He's gotten just as much TV time as a Roman Reigns. Seth Rollins has been very well protected. Seth Rollins has main evented multiple Raws. He's main evented more Raws than Roman Reigns. Seth Rollins has main evented the last 3 or 4 pay-per-views. He's headlined. So if we're going to be fair and say a Roman Reigns is being shoved and forced down our throats, let's be fair and say Seth Rollins has been forced down our throats as well. Look at Rusev. Rusev has been in WWE for about a year now, or at least on the main roster for about a year. He's had an undefeated streak. Current United States champion. I don't hear anyone use the term forced down our throats. He's being forced down our throats. What's the difference in Rusev currently right now having a streak and him being forced down our throats and your current U.S. champ compared to when Ryback 3 years ago, 2 or 3 years ago, when he had his streak, his little undefeated streak they had going on, and people were saying they're forcing Ryback down our throats. Now, granted, I don't think Ryback should have gotten elevated as fast as he did to the top, which is what they're doing differently than Rusev. However, again, you see where I'm coming from, the term forced down our throats. I think some wrestling fans, again, I say they nitpick and they choose who they think is being forced down their throats. It's always with guys that they don't like that they would use the term forced down our throats. If you are an internet darling, like a Seth Rollins, Dean Ambrose, God knows Dean Ambrose has been anything but forced down our throats the way they've been pushing Ambrose. It's been terrible. But if you're not an internet darling like a Seth Rollins, a Dean Ambrose, a Cesaro, uh, uh, what's another internet darling current on the roster? Adrian Neville, Kevin Steen, and they're not even on the main roster yet, but I'm just using them as an example. If you're not one of those kind of guys, and you are a factory made WWE guy, which was what you consider would be a Bray Wyatt, I'd even say even you know, not yeah, Bray Wyatt or Roman Reigns, fans nitpick and they'll say, well, this guy's main Vince is forcing them down our throats. They're forcing them down our throats. When it's like, couldn't you say he's forcing some of your favorites down other people's throats? Now, I'm not saying, that Vince does not force certain wrestlers down our throats and force them trying to make them like us. I'm not saying that, you know, I'm just using this as an example. I like all these wrestlers. I'm not limited to just liking just one specific wrestler. I followed CM Punk for years. I'm 23 years old and I followed Punk throughout his entire independent wrestling scene, and I followed him growing up as a young child up until this present day. Him now going to UFC. I followed Punk's career, but never once did I ever think that, oh, because Punk is my guy, anyone else who doesn't get Punk's spot, just force them down our throats. Or I dislike you because you're not CM Punk, so you're forcing them down our throats. Granted, I think Punk's WWE career could have been handled in a better way, but I just think it's interesting how fans would use that term "force down our throats" when it comes to, I've noticed, WWE kind of factory based type of like guys. They use that term very lightly, but when you look at someone who they may like, say, Seth Rollins again, I'll use as an example, or Internet Darling, they're very protective. No, he's getting the push, but he's not being forced down our throats. It's like, I see no difference between a Seth Rollins and a Roman Reigns. I really don't. Besides in-ring work and skill, I'm talking about just the term forced down our throats, which I find annoying. There was a shoot interview that I have of Kevin Nash and Scott Hall that they did back in 2007. And Kevin Nash had said, he made a statement, and he said that he thinks wrestling fans are fickle. Their attention span is very short, and they're very fickle, where they'll be behind the underdog and be like, oh, this guy needs a push. Give him a push. He deserves a push. But then once that superstar breaks the glass ceiling and becomes a main eventer, then they'll say, oh, he's being pushed and forced down our throats. Someone else deserves the spotlight. He's too stingy of the spotlight. And, when Kevin Nash said that, I couldn't help but sit back and I thought for like 10 minutes. I'm like, you know what? Whether you hate or love the guy, he's right. Kevin Nash is right. Wrestling fans are very fickle. They will stand behind a certain superstar and they will sing his praises. They will demand this guy gets a push and everything else. But then once that guy continues to, get the ball rolling and keep steamrolling, then after a while they say, well, whoa, hold on, wait. We wanted you to get a spotlight, but we didn't want you to get all the spotlight. Hold on now, you're a sellout. Vince is forcing you down our throats. You suck. Give somebody else a chance. I've seen it time and time again, and I bet those same fans who say Seth Rollins is great, Seth Rollins is the man, I bet your bottom dollar 4 years from now, 3 to 4 years from now, when Seth Rollins breaks that glass ceiling and he is one of the top main eventers in WWE, I bet you the same people right now that cheer and chant Seth Rollins are going to be they're going to bitch about him later, 3 or 4 years, 3 or 4 years from now, and say, you know what, Seth Rollins is being forced down our throats too much. He's the modern day Triple H. They won't let anyone else get a chance with the title belt or with the spotlight. He's not sharing the spotlight. They're already doing it with Roman Reigns because we know Roman Reigns is going to get his big push next year. I mean, they're already planting the seeds for him to win the Royal Rumble. So we know Roman Reigns is going to get his big push, and so it's automatically expected from fans already that they're going to bitch him on when it comes to Roman. So I just had to get my thoughts out on this. I'm tired of the term "forced down our throats." I think it's used too lightly, too much amongst the internet wrestling community, whatever the hell you want to call them or call yourselves. I think they use that term. I think it's political BS because I think they pick and choose who they want to use that term on. When they're not being fair with everyone else, they're being exclusive when they use the term "forced down our throats." So you guys let me know what you think about this topic. Do you agree, disagree with my thoughts, my ideas, what Kevin Nash said years back about wrestling fans being fickle? I want to hear your thoughts in the comment box below. Comment, subscribe, even make a response video. I'd love that. That'd be even better. Do that. Peace.